Okay, folks, last class. Yay, jazz hands. Welcome. We are on finally, right? About 7, 8 weeks later, 2 months later. Oh my gosh. Our seventh reason why we struggle to eat healthy, even though we know we should, and what we should do instead. I'm going to go through a recap here for everybody just to make sure you're on track. In the first tip, we talked about how we are in a constant state of stress and we need to get ourselves out of it. It's a habit that we need to break. And we practiced our breathing techniques in order to calm our systems down. We talked about deprivation and starvation and how making decisions from that place is completely impossible, basically. And so we need to eat when we're hungry. We need to eat slowly and focused, and we need to enjoy what we eat. Okay, we need to fill ourselves up so that we can actually make creative, healthy, happy decisions. Okay. Number 3, we talked about energy deficit and fatigue. And we talked about how when we're feeling really tired, which a lot of times we do, we make things worse by drinking more caffeine, which just initiates that stress response. It also makes us, switch our decision making from proactive to reactive, and we're just not in a good state of mind. We talked about how lacking passion or purpose can create an energy deficit, and so how removing food or trying to experiment with your food right off the bat probably isn't the greatest idea, because the bottom might just fall right out from under you. So you really should focus on any emotional baggage that you're carrying along. You need to reduce your exercise so that you're actually having fun out in the sun, connecting to the earth, bare feet on the ground, playing with your kids, doing things that connect you and rejuvenate you, and make sure, of course, that you're sleeping well. There's a lot of tips and tricks in that whole subject, but we did talk about making sure that your melatonin levels are able to be sufficient in order to get you to go to sleep. And we talked about eating a proper snack if you're hungry right before bed, so that your body can actually slowly digest that without waking you up in the middle of the night. So that was the whole energy piece, was a big one. We talked about using short-term discipline to add positive things into your life, rather than stressing over long-term willpower to keep the negative things at bay or to restrict things from your life. So rather than focusing on that willpower piece, which is actually physiologically impossible to maintain, we focus on short-term discipline, which we all have access to, so that we can add positive things, positive change into our lives. And then guess what? Those changes act as their own medicine, their own motivation for you to continue on that positive path. I'm going to have to refer to my notes here. We talked about how we always tend as human beings to stress out on perfectionism, all or none thinking, lack of consistency, and why we should just wait until later to eat healthy because all this other junk is in the way and there's no way that we're going to be able to keep it up. And I want to make sure that we don't psych ourselves out. Stay in the present moment and actually get curious about our feelings and thoughts in the moment, and lean into those feelings, those thoughts, how the food makes you feel, and decide from there what you're going to do. And then from that next point, you're a new person because you've eaten something that changed your inner workings entirely, and so now you can make your next decision. And it doesn't matter how many times you begin. Just begin again and again and again. You trust your vision, you are confident and intentional, and you make decisions from the ground that you're standing on, from this moment right here. That's where you make decisions from. Don't let your mind spiral out of control. And then last week we talked finally about how our tendency to simplify food into an aesthetic game, where it's either about weight gain or weight loss and what we look like in the mirror, and we totally remove ourselves from our food, and in doing so we completely do our bodies a disservice, because they are so miraculous and they do so many things to keep us going. They heal us and they energize us, and it's the only body that we've got, so we need to give it mad respect and mad love. And the way that we do that is by really envisioning what our food is doing for us when we put it into our bodies, from the littlest, tiniest little mitochondria all the way up to the big old organs like our brain and our lungs and our heart. Everything is so important. All runs the gamut. So envision that food giving you nutrition, not affecting the number on the scale. Okay, 5-minute recap. Now we're finally at the end. I want to let you know that if you've made it this far, and if you're at the end of the course, I want to congratulate you before we go through this very last tip. And that if you email me at mybodycanbreathe.com with an E on the end, remember that, and let me know that you finished the course, and give me a short blurb, a couple sentences, even a couple paragraphs if you're feeling ambitious, how the course was, your reaction, what it did for you, what it didn't do for you, what you expected, if I fulfilled your expectations, etc. I would just love you for that, first of all. And secondly, I want to offer you a health consultation one-on-one. I normally charge $100 for such a thing, but I want to give it to you for free because I just so appreciate you for walking with me along this last 8 weeks. So if you want a free health consultation with me, and it's also going to include a listening partnership, which is something that I'll talk to you about on our call, then we can definitely schedule something like that. I would love to meet you personally and help you with whatever struggles that you're having. Okay, so there's that on the table. Let's get into the last tip. I think that we all know this, but it is so worth talking about: mindset. And it really does boil down to that, doesn't it? Mindset is so important, and I want you to know this is more of an encouraging thing than anything else. You have a choice, okay? You can either see this whole journey as losing weight or gaining health, for instance. It's up to you, and it's practicing what your mind thinks about in the spaces of your day. So are you trying to lose weight, or are you trying to gain health? Are you trying to avoid the uncomfortable feelings, or are you trying to lean into them and figure them out, right? Are you trying to deprive yourself by cutting things out, or are you trying to take care of yourself by adding things in? I have 2 more examples, and I just can't think of them, so I'm going to look at my paper. Of course. Are you going to trust your cravings, or are you going to trust your vision? That's a big one, because a lot of people just give in to their cravings, but do you really trust them? No. Trust your vision, not your cravings. It's just, it's how you think. I'm going to trust my vision, right? And so really it boils down to, I have to do this, or do I get to do this? And it is up to you. I cannot make you change your thinking. No one can, actually. But it does depend on how your body is firing on all cylinders. So as you make all of these changes slowly and steadily, and as you practice adding in these techniques that we've talked about, you are going to feel so much more whole and balanced and strong, coming from a framework and a foundation where you can actually make good decisions because you want to make good decisions, because you've addressed other areas of your life where you might have been falling short initially. I hope that makes sense. And I'll tell you again, I've been on this journey following this advice for the last couple of years, and in the last 3 months, it has just exploded for me. I have just, it's like all of a sudden, well, it didn't happen all of a sudden, right? Because this doesn't happen all of a sudden, but I looked back, hindsight 2020, but gradually, like, everything was like kind of moving and shifting, and all of a sudden, here I go, kind of like locked into place, and I'm like, I'm healthy. Oh my gosh, like, this is me. I don't need to eat that shit, like I don't want to. I'm so happy, and I've been learning so much, and And I want to help you to continue learning as well. So again, if you've finished this class with me, please email me with a little blurb, some constructive criticism or some praise, and I will be more than happy to meet with you over the phone for an hour-long session, just you and me, and we can talk about your own personal situation and circumstances, what you're having trouble with, and how to maybe reframe your position and your approach so that you are on your way to total healthy success. With that, I so appreciate you for taking this class with me, for taking this class for you. Keep those journals and keep getting that stuff out of your head and onto paper. I would encourage you to do that forever. Don't stop now. And I wish you the best. I absolutely wish you the best. Thanks again, and hopefully I'll see you again soon, my friend. Bye-bye.